Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, the NFL season is well underway, and the Cleveland Browns are already making some waves, even with a 1-2 record after their first 3 games. And honestly, considering the expectations, or rather, the lack thereof, that many analysts had for this team at the start of 2025, it's pretty impressive. This was supposed to be a rebuilding year, a time for patience and development, especially with their young quarterbacks. But what's interesting is how some of these young players are already starting to stir the pot, and one name in particular has been making headlines not just for his talent, but for what he's implying about his readiness to step onto the field. That name is Shedeur Sanders. Now, for those of you who might not be as familiar, Sanders wasn't even expected to be a significant part of the Browns' plans in the early part of the season, especially given his position on the depth chart. He's been the emergency third-string quarterback, essentially inactive for the most part, watching the games from the sidelines. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel, the former Oregon standout, has been the backup behind Joe Flacco, getting some garbage time reps and honing his skills. But Sanders? Well, he's been sitting there, waiting for his moment, and it seems he's not just content to wait in the wings anymore. Recently, Sanders made a pretty bold statement during an interview with ESPN Cleveland. When asked about his mindset and his current outlook on his career, he didn't hold back. He said, "I know if you see the quarterback play in the league right now, I know I'm capable of doing better than that." And it's not just a vague confidence, it's a direct challenge to the current NFL landscape, which, let's face it, has been a mix of inconsistent performances and seasoned veterans trying to find their rhythm. Shedeur didn't stop there. He added, "I know it's not God's plan right now. Some things happen for a reason, I'm a believer in that, and whatever his plan is for me, I believe in it." This kind of statement, especially coming from a young quarterback who's been mostly on the bench, is pretty significant. It shows a level of confidence that's rare, especially for someone still technically in a backup role. And it's clear that Sanders feels he's ready to be more than just a backup. He's ready to compete, to prove himself, and to take that next step into the spotlight. Now, he didn't specifically call out any teammates or NFL players by name, but by referencing quarterback play around the league, he's implicitly putting himself in the same conversation with some of the league's current starters and backups. And let's talk about what this means for the Browns. First, it's a clear signal that Sanders is not just biding his time anymore. He's aware of his talent, and he's willing to make some noise if he gets the chance. For the Browns, this is an interesting dynamic. They have Joe Flacco, a veteran with a lot of experience, but he's not the long-term answer. Gabriel, on the other hand, has shown flashes of potential but still needs consistency. Sanders, though, believes he's ready now, ready to take that next step and prove he belongs as a starter someday soon. Looking at the season ahead, it's also worth noting that Sanders is expected to get his shot later in the year. The plan seems to be that once Flacco's time as the starter is over, whether due to injury or a coaching decision, Sanders will be the next in line. And if his recent comments are any indication, he's not going to wait quietly for that moment. He's already planting seeds, letting everyone know he's confident and eager to show what he can do. This kind of attitude can be a double-edged sword, of course. Confidence is great, but it also comes with pressure. Browns fans, though, I think what's more exciting is that Sanders is showing a mindset that suggests he's not just waiting to be handed opportunities. He's ready to seize them, and that could be a game changer for the Browns, especially if he gets the chance to start more games later in the season. The team has been working on building a winning culture, and having a quarterback who's not afraid to speak his mind and back it up with talent can be a huge boost. Now, let's not forget that Shedeur Sanders is still very young, and he's got a lot to learn. The NFL is a different beast from college, and even with his confidence, he'll need time to adjust, to read defenses, and to develop his decision-making under pressure. But what's promising is his mindset. He's not overwhelmed, and he's not content to just be a squad player. He's got eyes on the prize, and he's ready to do whatever it takes to make that leap. And speaking of the Browns' season, it's fascinating how this adds a new layer of intrigue to the team's development. Gabriel has been doing his thing, earning some valuable experience, but Sanders' words suggest that he's not going to settle for waiting in the wings forever. It also raises the question, how will the coaching staff handle this internal competition? Will Sanders get a shot earlier than expected? Will his confidence translate into actual performance when the moment arrives? These are questions Browns fans are starting to ask, and it's something to keep a close eye on as the season unfolds. The AFC North is always a competitive division, and with teams like the Bengals, Ravens, and Steelers all fighting hard, the Browns need to keep their eyes on the prize. But what's really exciting is the potential for a new quarterback to emerge, someone who believes he can do better and isn't afraid to say it publicly. That kind of attitude can be contagious, especially if he gets the chance to prove himself on the field. The Browns have historically been a team with a lot of ups and downs, but this year, there's a sense that something different could be happening. A new chapter, perhaps, with young talent ready to step up and challenge the status quo. Of course, all of this is speculation at this point. The season is still young, and plenty can change between now and the final whistle. But what's undeniable is that Sanders' comments have sparked a lot of conversations among fans, analysts, and even players around the league. His confidence, his words, and his readiness all point to a young quarterback who's not just here to play backup forever. He's here to make a statement, and maybe, just maybe, he'll get that opportunity sooner than later. And for Browns fans, that's the kind of story that keeps us all excited. We love seeing young players grow, we love the idea of potential turning into reality, and we definitely love the possibility of seeing Shedeur Sanders take the field as a starter. It's all about that next chapter, that next step, and the hope that this team can continue to build on its recent progress. The AFC North is tough, but with players like Sanders ready to step up, the Browns are showing they're not just waiting around, they're fighting to be at the top. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on Sanders' bold statements? Do you believe he's ready to take the field and prove himself? How do you see this competition unfolding in the coming weeks? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. Keep supporting the team, keep believing in that bright future, and as always, let's go Browns!